If you are a product manager, a product owner, or a business owner, and you think that your team or your product is not shipping out as fast as it should be, then you might be struggling with either the processes or the technology itself is quite convoluted by now, and your team is not able to navigate through it. Or another possible reason could be that you have developed something over a period of time and lots of its parts are built with prior requirements in mind, and some of the parts are built with newer requirements in mind, and now they are not gelling well together. In such scenarios, rewrite could be a very good option. But the biggest problem people have with rewrites is that, how do we do it? There is a constant stream of requests coming from the business side or the product management side, and that has to be built into the existing product. But at the same time, you want your entire team or maybe part of your team to focus on building the next generation of the product. In such cases, the biggest problem the team faces is that how do you balance between the two? Should I focus more on building features into the existing version, or should I focus my team into building the next version of the product? There are pros and cons of both the approaches. Obviously, if you continue to build in the existing version, then you are able to support the business far better. But the problem with the current version, why you might be looking to move to the next version, is that the current version of the product is quite convoluted. It is very spaghetti code has come into picture. It is probably quite monolithic. You want to move to more microservices architecture. These are the reasons why you don't want to put more focus onto the V1 of the product, and hence you want to move to the V2 of the product. But moving to V2 of the product has its own challenges. So when you start moving to V2, when you start focusing on V2 of the product, you will have to cut down your development bandwidth onto the current V1. And sometimes the business owners or the product owners might not be very happy about it. And as an engineering leader, you would struggle with this decision. Even if you start the development of the next version of your product, it doesn't mean that everything is going to go according to the plan. You will make mistakes over there also, no matter how much experience you've already gained in V1 of your product. If you end up encountering issues in V2, that is going to delay the timeline of V2 of your product. That will again anger the product owners and the business owners. Even if your V2 product gets built, it will always lag behind in terms of features as compared to the V1 of the product. Now, how do you play the catch-up game? In all kinds of rewrites, eventually it's a game of catch-up. You have to make sure that your development team on the V2 is outputting faster than the development in V1. In theory, it is possible because V2 is a much cleaner code. You know all the challenges you faced in V1, and hence you are able to build solutions of those problems in the V2 version of your code. But it is not easy. The way to do it is that you have to literally split your team into two, a V1 team and a V2 team. V1 team continues to support the business and the product requirements, while V2 starts building it from scratch. When I say building it from scratch, the most important thing to know is that you should think not only from a technology choice perspective, which cloud you are going to host it into, but you should also look at the schema. Why schema? Because schema is the most fundamental building block of a product. Or suppose you built a schema of a product, say 6 years ago. 6 years ago, maybe the requirement of the products was quite different. Whatever you built was more tuned to those requirements. 6 years later, now the requirements of the product would have matured, would have changed from their original form, and it kind of calls for building the entire schema from scratch. I highly recommend that if you are taking up the task of complete rewrite, then build it from scratch. If you're trying to do a rewrite in micro and mini steps, then you may change the schema slowly. Changing everything in one shot always comes with its own pros and cons. It is quite risky. It can derail the entire thing. But at the same time, if you can pull it off together, the kind of performance improvements and the development speed improvements you're gonna get is humongous.